the sun and struggle through the day. In every passing moment, watch your life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shamanic Philosophy Podcast, a pseudoscientific, quasi-philosophical, non-expert discussion platform dedicated to a holistic exploration of the human experience. Shamanic Philosophy isn't just a podcast, but a community. We're a tribe of extended family from around the world who believe that together we have the power to make it a better place. We believe that that change starts within each one of us and spirals out to our relationships and interactions. I'm Adam, and I feel so blessed to be here with you today. Today I'm talking with another Adam, a guy you may know as 3rdEyeOpener from Instagram or 3rdeyeopener.com, author of the book 3rd Eye Opened, and all-around maniac of the highest order. He's also a really cool person and one of the few people whose ADD might actually be able to keep up with my own. He's got a lot to say, and for the most part, tact and subtlety won't be major players in this conversation, to say the least. I had a blast talking with him, and I hope you enjoy listening as much as I did recording. So, without further ado, I give you 3rd Eye Opener. Well, shit, dude. What you been up to?
Oh, God. I don't even know, dude. The last 6 weeks I've been bouncing around Colombia, just living a little, you know?
Yeah.
Just making sure I get the best use out of this skin suit as humanly possible this lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Taking care of the meat suit, man. You got to take care of the meat suit.
I don't even know if I'm feeding the meat suit. So it's like I'm feeding just the suit. You know, I haven't done much. There hasn't been a lot of spiritual growth in the last month. It's been kind of a
I feel like Mercury's been in Gatorade for a while, you know?
Yeah, I've been fucked up, bro. I've just been in the house. I slept one whole, two Saturdays in a row, slept the whole day.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to do that stuff.
You know, I'm not eating a lot. Like, Mercury retrograde fucks me up every year, dude. It really just jams it down my throat. Yeah, I don't like it.
You know what? We've only become, certainly I've only become more familiar and a little bit, I say in tune with, but even aware of, you know, sort of the astrological impact that we have to deal with, you know, but whereas a lot of people think it's total bullshit, to me, becoming aware of it makes a lot more sense of it. You know what I mean? You go through these mood swings, and it's really like a chick being on her period. You know, my girlfriend's on her period and she goes ape shit, but Mercury's in retrograde and, well, she goes ape shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, dude, if the planets were bullshit, women would not get their fucking period on the full moon. And they do. Either they get it on the full moon or the half moon or the new moon.
Is that how that works?
It's always the new moon or the full moon.
I didn't know that. I knew that it was tied to the moon cycles and stuff. I just had no idea how.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's governed by the moon. Like, it's so weird, dude. Think about it. We have the calendar all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Are we recording for the show? I want to make sure I get this on the shit.
Yeah, man. Right? I just rolled into it. I just said, fuck it, let's just do it.
Fuck it, let's just
because
do it.
anything spoken between you and I just probably needs to be recorded, even if it's just, you know, for our own criminal defense later.
Dude. So I'll say this. Hi, guys. I'm 3rd Eye Opener. I am the fucking pain in the ass behind 3rdeyeopener.com, 3rd Eye Opener Instagram, 3rd Eye Opener YouTube, Facebook, whatever the fuck I'm on. I don't do this to get famous. I don't do this because I have a shop and I sell crystals. I do this because I fucking wanted a planet to live on, and that didn't seem like it was possible anymore, so I had to say something.
I want to dive in real quick and say, just for clarification, that he sells crystals, plural, not crystal.
Yeah, not crystal meth. So please don't think that I sell crystal meth. Dude, have you seen the troll campaigns online these days? It's so bad, bro. It's a divide and conquer. Like, they're ripping through the ranks of the conscious community online. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, and I want to get into that here shortly. I want you to keep getting into who you are and give everybody some background. But I do want to get back into that because it's a big one for me right now, and I'll get into that with you.
Pissing me the fuck off, bro.
Yeah,
it's such bullshit.
Yeah, but tell me more about selling crystals online.
Selling crystal. How do you sell your methamphetamine, Adam?
Mainly online.
So funny. Mainly online.
No,
man,
and
can you imagine?
one of the things I love about you, and you know, I've been on Instagram now since about May, and I floundered around for a little while trying to figure it out. But you were someone I found early on, and one of the things I love about you is man, there's not a whole lot of bullshit to be had. Right, you don't put up with it, and you don't speak it. You know, it's like
Dude, I'm just me, man.
You're you all the time, and I dig that.
Yeah, we got it all wrong, bro. It's the most powerful thing that anybody on this planet could do is just be them.
I call it living.
You can't
in truth.
be anybody else.
You got to live in truth, man.
That's it, bro. And honestly, like none of us are perfect. Even the most spiritual motherfucker, the guy that lives on top of a mountain that's never like had sex or done anything. This guy has some dark thoughts. Every single person on this fucking planet.
If I never had 50%, sex, I'd have a lot of dark thoughts.
Bro, shit, if I never had sex, I mean, I probably wouldn't have any fucking problems now, honestly. I'd probably have just a bunch of chicks that were all happy with me. Dude, my life is full of angry women.
Yeah.
That is like, I feel like Jack Sparrow. Every port I go to, there's some angry bitch waiting for me to slap me in the face.
You think Jack Sparrow, and I'm from Texas, I was thinking George Strait, you know?
Take either one. I mean, I just like the pirate life because I'm just a vagabond.
That's funny. You're kind of Jack Sparrow-ish. I get that.
I am pretty Jack Sparrow-ish. It's actually kind of comical because I have the same, and like a cross between Jack Sparrow meets Hunter S. Thompson meets like the guy from Fight Club, the Brad Pitt guy that just wants to burn the whole world down, but for a really good reason.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you're like Bane with a conscience.
Yeah, exactly, bro. It's what can you do, you know?
What was it that dragged you into this life? Because you know you are a super legit guy. You got a lot of energy. You got a lot of positivity in you. A lot of love for people. And I think in a sort of an awakened sense of being, you're obviously a very conscious dude. And you're about living and I would say in most ways a very conscious, peaceful, loving life, but you're also a guy that has a lot of energy, man. You're a lot of you've also got some hostility towards certain let's just call them oppressive powers that exist in the world. And so I know you've got an interesting story. Why don't you lay some of that out for me? That's what I want to know.
All right, here we go.
And I'm going to jump in. If I hear something awesome, I'm going to dive in on it.
Yeah, fuck it, bro. Just cut me out. I don't even care. I talk too much anyway, so just do you, I'll do me, and we'll see what we come out with in the end.
We'll be fine.
That's how it should always work, bro. I mean, just fucking be you.
I love having these conversations, and I've been looking forward to having this conversation for a long time.
It's a good one.
Yeah, dive in.
I'm not going to lie. I'm actually having fun, so this is good. I'm like pacing around my house, which is right now located in the middle of kind of Colombia, sort of near the Ecuador border.
Yeah, a lot of people wonder where you're at and don't realize where you are.
Yeah, a lot of people think that. I think a lot of people think I'm in Hawaii, maybe. Because that's where I would like to think that people would believe that I'm in Hawaii. That's great for me, because then they think I'm still in America. It's great, like that's perfect. But in reality, I'm in Colombia, which is not actually the reality, but it's a country that's very similar to Colombia, close to Colombia, and. Kind of in the middle of it's not really the jungle here. It's like dry mountain meets beach, kind of. But I'm near a river, so it's very lush here. I never really give my real location. And the main reason for that is I really don't like fucking Israel. Let me just be completely fucking frank. I don't care what anybody says. Call me an anti-Semite. I'm fucking educated. I see these people raping, murdering, torturing women, fucking children, all this bullshit. I'm the first person to speak out about it. They have the largest assassin army in the fucking world. I'm not going to go putting my location online like a fuckboy, you know?
Yeah, I understand. This is the part where I dive in. This is the part where I dive in and say I've got to throw in a disclaimer. I don't have enough knowledge of the Israeli-Palestinian thing. To have an opinion on that, but I do know that what's going on over there is a bad deal, and that it's often
a bad deal for everybody involved.
Yeah,
for everybody except for the white motherfuckers that took over Palestine, who are somehow convinced that they came from the Middle East, where there's only brown and Arab copper people. Yeah, these people just sprouted up and think that they're from it. It disregards all of natural human history. It is not. It's like, what is history, dude? What is history? It's his story. It's somebody's story. Whose story is it? It's
the story of the victor, right? Yeah.
Bingo, bro. So it's like everything we've read in books was written by somebody that wants you to believe. Like, dude, Norman Rockefeller does not give a fuck what American public schools teach. He does not care if these kids are intelligent. He cares that they get information that keeps them slaves. They do not want motherfucking entrepreneurs. They don't want people knowing the real American history, let alone the world history, bro. They don't want anybody knowing any of this.
So true. So true. And
Yeah,
that's resulted in a really discordant sort of situation that we're in today. You talk about history.
Yeah, we don't even know who we are.
Yeah, we don't know who we are. We're distracted. We don't know who we are, and a big part of that is history. And I think one of the cool things that I've enjoyed about you is aside from just paying attention to the current events of today, you understand, like a lot of, like some people do, that it's not just important to understand the politics or geopolitics and the current events of today, but to understand how we got here.
Yeah, like, why are we even here? Like, what is the purpose of this? Like, I don't give a fuck about the chemtrails. I don't fucking care about the fluoride in the water. Let's talk about why we're on Earth.
Why are we here? Tell me.
I mean, dude, we're here to create, no?
Yeah. Here to experience. I think we're here to find awe in as much as we can, and then devote our lives to experiencing as much of that awe as we can. And then once we've gotten to that point, that we help teach others to do the same. Because I personally think that we are God. We are the universe experiencing itself.
You're just it. There's nothing else. It's just, everything is like, you take a prism and you hold it up to the sun, you get a rainbow, right?
Yep.
You're the rainbow, but your higher self is the sun, the prism, and the rainbow.
Damn, I like that. I like that visual.
Yeah, it's sick, dude. It's all you, but it's just, you're only seeing a fractal, and you're seeing a billion other fractals, because everything is just a fractal of this one consciousness.
But it's so interesting that people have gotten so divided, right? And there are a lot of factors that lead into that division. You mentioned the Rockefellers and stuff, and I'm always really careful to just personally, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of the listeners, if they're familiar with you, kind of know your stance on all this stuff. Personally, I've never wanted to call myself an anti-Zionist or an anti-anythingist, really. But I will certainly say that when you're talking about the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the specific individuals behind these banking cabals and these banking families that have existed for God knows how long, potentially even back to Egyptian times, these guys have got a plan of destabilization, and they've got a playbook to run that's been in play for a long time, and that's a part of history that we don't want to hear.
Thousands of years.
Yeah.
And nobody knows it, dude. That's the dangerous part. It's not that. Look, the devil always pulls the strings behind the scenes. Satan can't just roll out with a fucking, a dragon and just start breathing fire down on people. You know what I'm saying? He has to, you have to weaken the image of God. That is the goal. And what is a demon anyway? I mean, what is what are we even referring to? We're referring to a second density sub 3D energy that latches on as an energetic parasite and creates chaos in the 3D realm once given a host. Yeah.
God, that's so beautiful. I was literally writing a podcast and used those exact same words to describe a demon yesterday.
Yeah, bro, that's
incredible.
Exactly, but it's what it is. I mean, have you ever met one? I've seen a few.
Yeah, I've met a few. We had a little shamanic gathering over at my place and took a bunch of heroic doses of mushrooms, and we all had some interesting encounters. But yeah, I've had them. You can see them. But I think what's interesting about them is that you can, whether or not you want to accept that these things are tangible in some dimension or observable in some dimension, if demons didn't exist, the field of psychology wouldn't need to exist.
Facts, dude. And see, this is where there's a giant disconnect. We do not have any spirituality in our science, but science in its essence, at its core, is spirituality. We have totally fucked ourselves by walking away from the scientific path. And we have bought and paid for science, where schizophrenia is no longer looked at as a potential form of shamanism. Mm-hmm. It's actually looked at as a detriment to society. It's just dude, the way that we're doing things is so weird. Isn't it weird? It's so weird.
I talk about this all the time, and in fact was talking about it on a podcast the other day, was that I saw this TED Talk called Shamanism, Psychosis, or Spiritual Awakening. And it was a guy that had spent 35 years going around studying all these shamanic cultures, and he would ask these shaman, how did you get into shamanism? You don't just go to a job fair and turn out being a shaman. And they were like, no. When I was 13 years old, I started hearing voices, and I started seeing things that everyone else that weren't there. And so the shaman of the community came in, or the tribe, and said, "Hey, come here, let me take you under my wing." And then they became the up and coming shaman of that culture, and everyone in the tribe was enriched because of the life and the works and the guidance of that shaman. And you know this, being down in the jungle and being aware of these types of cultures. They don't have mental institution in these fucking places.
No,
tribes don't have nut houses.
What is that? You don't lock a person up and take away their free. You do not do that to anything at all, ever. It is a crime against the fucking essence of existence to lock something up in a cage because you don't agree with what its mental state is. It is the craziest thing that I've ever heard. It's such a shame.
The term mental illness. You know, I made a post the other day. I watched my girlfriend and I watched A Beautiful Mind. She'd never seen it. I've seen it 1,000 times, but you know, for anybody who hasn't watched it, obviously A Beautiful Mind is a movie about John Nash, a great economist and mathematician. He was a genius back in the days of late days of Einstein in the early 50s and 60s, 70s and on. And total genius, but he was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, and he saw, you know, men in black chasing him around that apparently weren't there, and he was involved in all these secret projects that apparently weren't real, and all this and that. And so, you know, the post I made on Instagram the other day was like, have you ever considered that maybe this dude was seeing stuff that we just couldn't see, or maybe he was involved in an MK Ultra program or something like that? Exactly. And I always wonder that about schizophrenics and stuff. I mean, when you look at the mystery that occurs where the rubber meets the road between consciousness and reality, you start to realize that event horizon right there, where consciousness meets what we call the real material world, there's some pretty weird shit that happens there, man. I think,
bro, it's so weird.
We tend to think
0-point energy field of weirdness.
Yeah, I think the psychological community and certainly the physics community, like I think everybody feels like they've got a lot better grip on it than they really do.
Oh, nobody has any idea. And it's the worst, too, when people pretend like they know what the fuck they're talking about.
Well, listen, I know you'll love this because I heard this the other day, and God, what was it? I just wanted to punch myself in the dick. I couldn't believe it. It was I read somewhere, and the Large Hadron Collider in CERN, it said like CERN has disproven the existence of ghosts. And I read the headline,
like, what?
And it was such obvious bullshit that I had to read it. So I just shook my head and drooled on myself, and then read it. And when I opened it up, and like the first few lines were like, obviously, says this physicist from Geneva, ghosts don't exist because with all the work and all the exploration and all the particles physics that we've been able to observe in Geneva now. We would have found him if ghosts existed. And at this point, I'm sitting here and I read this to my he was 11 then, but my 12-year-old son. I read this to my 12.
Like, everybody knows that they exist. What a retard is this guy? Like, what the fuck?
Well, even beyond, it was his justification for how they knew they didn't, because I read it to my 12-year-old and I said, buddy, what do you think of this? And my 12-year-old started laughing, and he goes, Dad, but we can only observe with all of our senses and instrumentation 5% of the known universe.
Right, like, what are we even talking about?
Yeah, there's 95% more of the universe that we at least know exists, and it could be even more than that.
That's what I'm saying, and there's literally more than that, levels upon levels upon levels of existence.
But
like, these people are so fucking ignorant.
They've definitively proven that ghosts don't exist, and this is the
who is this?
Arrogance.
Can you send me a link for this fuck boy so I can tag him and put him out to dry? Fuck him. Fuck his mother for having him. Are we serious here?
It happened. That's
bro.
Real.
I've like met ghosts. I've literally I ate belladonna once. You know what belladonna is?
Familiar with the name. I don't know what it is.
Bro, Angel's Trumpet.
Isn't she the one that wears the cones on her titties and sings on stage? She kissed Britney Spears.
No, wasn't that Beyonce? Oh no, that was Madonna.
Just fucking with
you. Did she really kiss Britney Spears? Britney Spears is probably like, what the fuck is this old ass cow licking me for?
Yeah, Madonna and Britney Spears kissed. Okay, I'm done being stupid. Tell me about belladonna. Is that a demon?
No, bro, it's a fucking plant. It's that really, really, really long flower.
All right, I'm gonna look
flower. It up. Yeah, if you see it, I mean, it's a shamanic. It's not really shamanic. It's more foolish to take. Many, many, many moons ago, I had taken it once. I had seen a guy take it once, and he got pretty fucked up. But I took it once, and actually, I sat down with the ghost in this chair on a cliff in Maui at Red Sands Beach and tried to figure out how I could help this. He didn't know he was dead. He'd been sitting there for like years and
That
years.
sucks.
And years. But it was weird because he'd been sitting there for years and years and years, but he was dressed in modern clothes. So it's weird, right?
Yeah, it's odd, man.
Nothing makes any sense, but I mean, it was a real ghost. I mean, I know his story, lived there. It's just...
That's what's so odd to me is that, you know, and of course, there's no way that you and I could have a conversation without getting into psychedelics. Is that even, would we ever consider that possible?
I don't think so.
I
dude.
don't think it's possible to have a
I need
conversation.
to start doing more mushrooms. Like, it's weird. You know, down here, you don't find a lot of that. It's mostly chemicals.
Yeah, I am a big believer in the power of the mushroom.
Me too, dude. Christ consciousness in a wafer.
Yeah, that's it.
Sick.
Yeah,
ET phone home. Okay, got the mushroom, yo.
That is exactly it. You know, and you can have some really profound experiences. I know I talk about psychedelics a lot on the podcast, and I've got limited experience with LSD. I've only done it a handful of times. I've only done DMT a handful of times. But I consider myself, you know, I'm relatively a master of the mushroom. You know, I've done it.
You know, mushrooms are that's a very, very, very. It's like so crystal clear what that is here for.
Yeah,
that is literally here to heal you.
Yeah,
it has no other purpose in this realm. It's a 5D tool to connect to your angels.
Yeah,
it's like. I don't even know how else it's like every single person listening to this should go and eat fucking mushrooms.
I say that all the time. Like, you know, I've got a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old son. And, you know, once they're old enough to have a good grip on the reality that they have to survive and thrive in this world, because obviously we do have to survive and thrive in the 3D world. We have to be able to do things. Now, I may not believe that we have to go jump through the materialistic hoops and live this big pointless life of materialism like some people do, but we do need to survive here and all that. But once my kids get a good grip on reality and they're of legal age and stuff like that, there's no question that I believe that I would love and look forward to the day that I can take mushrooms with my boys, because it's the most transformative, most positive, bro. most healing and enriching experience that I've ever experienced, and the tribe that I've sort of built around me and my friends and family, and now my extended family. You know, we've started to, you know, develop these gatherings and get-togethers and discussions even around these experiences, and it's changed the lives of so many people around me.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It saves everybody. I mean, it doesn't leave anybody behind.
No, have you ever known?
It'll fix you if you give it the chance.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you can do a lot of work with the mushroom. You can talk to it. It's a living thing. You can talk to it. You can ask it questions.
And it's a spirit as well. Like it's an entire entity in and of itself. Did you know that mushroom spores are the only fucking thing in existence that are designed to survive the vacuum in space, with the exception of one other little? It's a very small microbe. It's called a woolly bear or something like that. But mushroom spores.
Water bear.
Water bear. There you go.
Tardigrade.
Yeah, tardigrade. Hey, that's it. That's my friend.
They're cute. They're adorable, but they're like
they are cute, but they're so small. Yeah, you know, what are you gonna do with that?
I think I had a pet tardigrade once, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think you had a few. You probably have some on your eyelid. I think that it's probably true. I think it's weird that these politicians rate
Holy Testicle Tuesday.
Small.
Yeah.
Like why would we have pet tardigrades? It doesn't even make sense. Why would I just want to throw that out there?
They wouldn't do it. You know, Graham Hancock. Are you a Graham Hancock fan?
I don't know if I'm an anybody fan. I'm kind of a Jesus fan personally, but
I'm a big Jesus fan.
I mean, what can I do? I don't know. I just like what he did. I mean, I don't believe in the Jesus stories, but I don't buy into the Bible, but I love what the concept is. A good person who did good things for good reasons.
That's it, and that's where I'm at with it too. And I grew up in kind of a Christian. I didn't have a Christian household at all, but like I just found my way to a Christian church and stuff, and was in Christian church, and it never made sense to me. I guess I've always been a little bit left brain, kind of logic driven. I've not really been a very spiritual, artistic, feminine-minded person. You know, a lot more male energy than female energy in that. And
so I'm lucky. I've got a lot of the female. That works out well for creativity and shit.
Oh, that's what it's all about, right? So I've always been more analytical and less creative. And
what's your sign, by the way? Are you a Pisces?
Virgo.
Of course you're a Virgo. That makes total sense.
See, and
Interesting.
I don't even know enough. My girlfriend, she's a Scorpio, and she's sort of the astrology witchy person in the house, and
That's good.
she does that. We refer to ourselves as the math and the magic. That's kind of how we operate. Is I'm the diagram. Stones and bones, nuts and bolts. Study the history, do the chronology, develop the timelines. I'm that. The science and the math, and then she's all of the mysticism and astrology and the tarot and the she's the intuitive empath that we tie it all together. But yeah, that's kind of how that goes. Shit, what was I gonna say? We were talking about. I wanted to get into the you mentioned the politicians and Graham Hancock. That's what we were talking about, and that's why I asked about Graham Hancock. Was he said that every politician should have to do 10 ayahuasca sessions before they take office.
Yeah. I mean, what are they doing anyway? I mean, honestly, who puts a completely Donald Trump has absolutely whatever the fuck business experience he has, great. He has zero spirituality. Zero. I mean, he is literally at baseline with spirituality. He is about as dumb spiritually as he is fucking with everything else. I mean,
dude,
such a shit
I'm going to
show.
find this quote. One of my favorite quotes about Donald Trump that I just hope I can find, and I don't know if
I hope we can find it.
Let's see.
I hate that fuckboy so much.
Dude, he's God.
Disgusting.
But I don't know if you're familiar with Sam Harris, but he's a UCLA neuroscientist. He's one of my favorite people, and I kind of get bored with him nowadays because he's maxed out his left brain potential as a neuroscientist and as a materialist and empirical scientist guy. And a philosopher, but without the other half of your brain, without the spirituality and the feminine energy and all that, you just can't get the whole picture. And
right, exactly.
And he's maxed out. I think he's just maxed out his growth until he can learn to break through that wall. But anyway, he said, "Oh, here we go. I found it." Okay, but I still love him, and I love the way he talks because of that.
Actually, on the opposite of things.
Yeah, exactly. He's super duper far left, but so I always said if I could design my own brain hemispheres, I would choose Sam Harris would be my left brain hemisphere, Graham Hancock would be my right brain, and Jordan Peterson would be my mid brain.
What an interesting. I love the way you think, dude. It's fucking great.
Yeah. So Sam Harris, very logical, very analytical. The way he speaks is super concise and just brilliant. He uses the fewest words possible. I just love him. But anyway, you're gonna love this. So here's Sam Harris on Trump. He says, "There is never a moment where I find Trump persuasive. When I look at him, I see a man without any inner life. I see the most superficial person on earth. This is a guy who has been totally hollowed out by greed and self-regard and delusion."
He's literally like a big walking ego, bro.
He's a big walking empty shell full of ego. Yeah, you're right. He's just his body's only purpose here is to house this
demon.
Yeah,
this fucking demon. I mean, what is the devil? It's your ego, right? On a microcosm. Yeah. What is Donald Trump? He's literally a big walking demon.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is the phenomenon. And by the way, just to be clear for everybody, if they haven't figured it out by now, you and I are by no means liberal Democrats or conservative Republicans. We are nowhere on the political spectrum. For anyone who's interested in asking you where you affiliate politically, probably can't understand where you and I affiliate. Yeah,
I stand firmly with my guns. And with my pit bulls and with my properties, and I stand planted in a final stand. There's no other option. That's where I stand when it comes to government.
Yeah, the whole paradigm is bullshit. But we have to call a spade, and just as much as Hillary Clinton is a soulless murdering psychopath, Donald Trump is an ego-driven maniac.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's two monsters, bro.
How dare you not side with one or the other, though? You have to pick one or the other.
So cheap. It's literally telling you to vote away, give your power to evil.
Yeah.
Because any evil is evil. I mean, look, I have my own demons. I don't need to fucking have somebody else have dominion over my demons.
Well, I don't want
That's
somebody.
me.
I don't
I'm
want to vote somebody into power, a demon into power who's going to even tell me which of my demons I'm allowed to indulge in and which ones I'm not. You know,
Isn't that crazy that we have weed illegal in the States? I mean, it's just the most insane thing. Cures cancer, illegal.
Who was it? Who was it that said on Twitter?
So dumb.
They were like, you know, in this country we're still arguing about the legality of giving returning soldiers with PTSD marijuana to treat their PTSD,
right?
Because marijuana is dangerous. You know, unlike the war they were just in.
They were just in. Like, you literally supported your troops by sending them off to die for a Jewish banker's war, and then in turn they come back broken because nobody is meant to be killing. I mean, it's so crazy.
We're not designed to do that.
That's not what we're designed to do. I mean, you know, fortunately for humans, the human body is extremely adaptable. I'm living proof of that. You know, your body will adapt to almost any situation you throw it into. It's very hard to kill a human. But a war is not something that we weren't put here for that purpose. We were put here to create, not to destruct, you know, but we've been conditioned to destroy everything.
Well, and on that point too, I mean, certainly we've not evolved to be killing machines, but you know, even beyond that, once you have put someone through the psychological training and then the actual physical exercise of becoming and having to think like a killing machine,
right?
How
they are killing?
Hey, they are. But then how? If you do want to integrate that person back into society, or even just let that person at some point obtain some sort of normalcy in their life without living with constant trauma and stress, I mean, there's a process of doing that. And we don't seem to have much.
It usually involves plant medicines.
It usually involves plant medicines, and we don't seem to, you know, if you look at all the things that fix a lot of the problems, and I guess that's where I always come back to psychedelics and have such a hard time steering away from psychedelics or staying out of psychedelics in topics or discussions like this, is because no matter which problems we discuss about society, if you follow the trail back enough, you'll find that the plant medicines have been used for thousands of years to keep these problems from happening. And in society,
exactly, and they've been taken away and made illegal.
Yeah.
You know what I've realized, dude? Earth is a place. We used to have a 7D consciousness here, but I don't know if it was Earth.
Oh shit,
at that
we're
time.
getting deep. We're getting deep.
Yeah, we're about to jump in, dude.
Put on your waders, people.
Yep, we're going. No, not even waders, bro. They're gonna get filled.
Scuba.
You need scuba, Steve. We're scuba scubing.
Golly, man!
So isn't it great that we're making like a life, just doing whatever the fuck we want, just talking about whatever we want? It's great. People love it. I love this life. It's so fucking great.
My first podcast. You know what it was titled? It's called "Doing What You Love to Do Instead of What You Have to Do."
Yeah, I'm not into that doing what you have to do. I'm into like just follow your heart. You know, God's going to take care of you. Do you?
There's a process to understanding that, and I always talk about it. You know, we get stuck on the responsibility train.
Yeah,
and then we think we're stuck. Talk to so many people.
That's the problem. You know what it is? It's the fucking thought process that says we're stuck. That's the problem. It's never the problem. It's always the belief system that's the problem. Yeah. Get rid of the belief system. Unlearn what you've learned. There's no problem. It's all a gift.
You know what McKenna said? He said, culture is not your friend.
Culture's not your friend.
And, you know, Ashley and I, my girlfriend and I had this conversation the other day, but it's like we get stuck on the responsibility train because we feel like it's our, and this is not, I think sometimes we can be hard on each other and say, well, you know, they could change their life anytime they wanted to if they would just get their head straight and get their shit together and do it. But we are conditioned from a young age to believe a certain way. And everybody's conditioned differently, depending on your household and your nature, nurture, and all that. But a lot of people, most people in Western culture, especially in America, you know, we're conditioned to believe like you got to have this house, you got to have this car, you got to have this money, you got to have this IRA, you got to get your kids into this college. And
it's crazy.
We don't know any different until we know different. Again, this is something that the plant teachers can break you free from. But you get stuck on this responsibility train because you go to college and now you've got $150,000 or however much in student loan debt.
Well, that's a real problem, isn't it?
Well, college is a problem.
That's just a massive problem, bro. We're doing kids all sorts of dirty with this.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, it's just bananas, bro. And the fact that nobody's caught on, right? I mean, we have a saturated market now where kids, we got to get back to the 7D consciousness.
Yeah, go back.
We're gonna move off track. Should we go back? Should we fuck the kids for now?
Forget about the kids. They're unimportant. I want to hear about 7D.
I'm sorry, Sandy Hook. It never happened.
I'm not.
By the way, Sandy Hook never happened. That's some total bullshit, guys. Go and research that. There's no fucking FBI deaths for the entire year for kids in that town. What are we even talking about? Let's get our fucking research hats on and stop believing bullshit that we see on CNN. It's fucked up.
I'll tell you what. Anybody that has a problem with me or with this podcast because of anything that anyone on this podcast says, go ahead and have your problems, because this is not a place where we're only going to discuss the stuff that you know, the easy stuff to talk about or the popular things to talk about. And I'm not really all that concerned about how you feel about it. I don't always have to agree with everything to the fullest extent. And Sandy Hook's another one of those things that I don't know enough about. I know that there are a lot of controversies. Let me say this, though. I mean, the Vegas thing is the biggest joke that I've ever heard of. David Hogg and the Florida thing is probably the second biggest joke that I've ever heard of.
David Hogg is probably the biggest joke I've ever heard.
No, you're right. David Hogg is the worst.
Unbelievable presented as factual bullshit.
I guess I'm still having a hard time even believing that they're trying to. I still can't believe it's really that they're trying to make that believable.
So here's my question. Are they? Or are they actually trying to get us to believe that, or are they trying to create the divide farther?
Yeah, I thought about this. Like, did Trump come? Because, you know, Trump was a 9/11 truth guy.
I know.
And I've wondered, like, if you know, just speculating craziness here, like, what if Trump came in and said, I'm just going to put together the most absurdly unbelievable false flag situation imaginable and start waking people up. This. What if Trump is really a sheep in idiot's clothing? What if he's accidentally doing good?
I've analyzed this.
He's so bad he has to be doing it on purpose, man. This can't be real.
That's what I'm thinking, bro. Like, okay, so the thing is, his son liked the picture. Like, so somebody made a post about David Hogg being a crisis actor, and Donald Trump Jr., this fat fuck who cuts off elephant tails after he butchers them in Africa for money, goes and likes the picture of David Miles Hogg being a false flag actor. So David Miles Hogg then responds on the national media that night, like on CNN News, of course, because his mom is an anchor for CNN. Or no, a high-up exec, and his dad is an FBI agent. You can't even make this shit up.
I knew that part. Yeah, that's insane.
How are we buying this?
Well, no, but my favorite part is, like, and this is why, you know, look, I don't mind getting into controversial stuff, but I do have a specific goal in my heart, a specific calling, a specific dharma that I try to fulfill, right? And part of that is there are people like you and Freedom Faction and other friends I've got that do such a great job of exposing the bullshit and the evil and the lies and the control systems. And I sort of leave that to you guys because you're good at that. I'm usually on a little bit of a different part of the spectrum where because I think we need all of it. We need the truth. We need all that the lies and the control systems exposed. I try to hover a little bit more over on the keeping the vibes high because that's something else that people need. But this is one of those things that to me is so absurd. David Hogg on video talking about being in the closet, hearing the shooter coming down the hallway,
and then being in his house.
And then he was in his house. Yeah, then he fucking bikes he pedals his little Huffy down there. I mean,
is that not nuts?
I don't. I can't. I got nothing.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't think that this kid. I don't think that anybody that put this completely crazy story together. By the way, the
really
permits for March for Our Lives were done 90 days prior to the shooting.
No, really?
Yeah, so it's like, this is obviously staged. But I don't think that they expect us to believe it. I think that they're trying to rip a divide in the country. They want a civil war. From what I understand, the bankers are no longer going to... Okay, I heard an interview the other day. This guy was a priest for the elites. Okay, he was a Catholic priest working for the Pope with the elite, or one of the elite. The vibes I got from what he said were completely true. I don't know if anybody else or how you guys recognize truth, but when I hear truth, I feel it in my crown chakra. It opens up, and I feel my spine tingle, and all of the truth bumps go up on my body.
Sure,
it's like my hair stand up. Like I know when I hear truth, and it's just my truth. I don't give a fuck what you believe. You can believe it, or you want to believe that eating cows is good for you. Cancer will tell you that is not the truth, but I don't need to tell you that. You can figure that out on your own.
Sure,
not you, but anybody listening. That's why I'm gonna sneak in that vegan shit. Go vegan, save the whole fucking planet.
Make you feel better, you know.
like everybody will feel better. The entire earth feels better. Having 60 billion animals slaughtered in one farm annually is just insane. I mean, that many cows and pigs, like pigs are on a human consciousness grid. That's a human. You could put a pig's heart in a human.
That's crazy.
That means that if the 100th monkey experiment is true, all of these pigs, for every 100 pigs that's being tortured, humans are feeling that in different parts of the world. One human feels it for every 100 pigs that are tortured. It's a horrible fucking scenario that we're experiencing.
That is terrible. Do we want to reel you back to the 7D or to the priest?
Fuck.
Ah!
No,
God,
I'm glad
you're as bad as I am, man.
I'm
We're
worse.
all over the place. I don't know.
My brain's scattered as fuck. It's just like it's one big. It's like a tourist field of.
Yeah, you just see. Dude, I totally understand what you mean, and I have the hardest time explaining this to people. But it's like I see everything all at once happening
right now.
all the time. It's all in one. It's like a video of the entire history of the world all playing at one time in my head. And
Everything.
I just reach into part of it and grab it and talk about it, but then it just touches. It connects to something else that doesn't make any sense to anyone else. That's why I can follow what you're saying because I'm a fucking wacko too. So that's that's why I've been looking forward to this talk.
My brain was just it was built for this. What it's doing. It's not. I'm not anybody else. I'm completely unique. You know, I'm crazy by societal standards.
I used to. I didn't accept that. Well, I mean, a lot of that's because society doesn't accept it. I took Adderall every day for 12 years. And
me too, bro.
I couldn't, because, my job, I had to sit down on a desk and work, 8 or whatever hours a day and look over contracts and spreadsheets and all kinds of shit. And, like, you can't do that with your brain or my brain. And so we obviously we had a disorder, right? Because that's how the psychological community works, is we were disordered. And so what do you do with disorders? But you medicate them.
Drug them. Right, or cage them.
Yeah, drug them or cage them. You know what I mean? So
that's it.
So then they attention deficit disorder, which really means, in my view, a hyperactive and hyper capacity cerebral system or a nervous system or cognitive system. You and I, a lot of people like us, people who are diagnosed with ADD or whatever, really just have the ability to process a shitload more information than most people of different types of information, to maintain and retain and randomly access more types of information. It doesn't work well sitting at a desk 8 hours. But no, I totally get where you're coming from. And I stopped taking Adderall really just fairly recently, about a year ago, and it changed my life. And it allowed my mind and my understanding and my information intake to grow tremendously. And I don't give a shit that I can't stay on topic half the time. That's what I have friends for. They tell me, they're like, "Hey, dude, back the fuck up. I lost you."
Dude, that's a whole nother thing. Our entire society, our culture was built by the societal engineers that literally built it wrong, backwards, completely, so that we are separated in the same community, but completely separated from everybody we're near. We're not supposed to live like this.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be these, tribal living, like in a community with every single person has a skill.
Yeah, no, they want the nuclear family with the division from the neighbors, because that's the thing. Like you said, if you have let's just call it a community, but you can call it a tribe. That's just the way it is. I mean, if you look at
that's what Brooklyn is supposed to be. Brooklyn's supposed to be a fucking tribe. They're shooting each other every day.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like Manhattan is a tribe. They live on a fucking island. That is a tribe of people, but they hate each other. There's like black ones, white ones, skinny ones, fat ones. They want to kill each other. Poor ones, rich ones. It's crazy.
It's I think the further we get away from our natural system of values, the more disjointed and confused we get as individuals. And then when we're in a state of confusion, we're off balance, we're easier to manipulate and control. And the things that you can do to manipulate and control people are pretty simple to implement. You know what I mean? Especially when you have control of media. Because
people don't even realize how strong that is. I mean, that's the ultimate tool of weaponized warfare is media.
Yeah. Joseph Goebbels wrote a book about it.
In America, thanks for that. Right. Literally, America is literally Nazi Germany. It's the exact same thing. Trump is Hitler. This is all just happened.
When you keep people ignorant of history and you keep the kids, you design curriculums for history class that are oriented on getting kids to memorize and then regurgitate on demand these pointless fucking facts. and fill in bubbles on tests, what happens is you're shutting down their imagination. You're not really getting them to think about and picture what life would have been like. That's why I love historical fiction movies so much, and I try to get my kids to watch historical fiction movies so much because it helps you to visualize what life would have been like at that time. And what people don't realize is, you say, well, Nazi Germany looked like, or today America is Nazi Germany. And, that may or may not be true, and people may or may not believe that. But the point is, when you say that, it may seem completely absurd because the image that people have in their head of Nazi Germany is like tanks rolling down the street and everybody's getting shot. That's not how Nazi Germany was.
But I mean, look at what's happening in America. Americans are protesting. American police are showing up with motherfucking belt-fed ammunition machine guns, 200 rounds in drums on top of tanks. We're talking about they are showing up to peaceful protests with unarmed American civilians. The government shows up with tanks, sound cannons, microwave cannons. I mean, tasers. Beanbag shots.
They shot those kids at Standing Rock, right?
Bro, they shot everybody at stadium. They shot a fucking pregnant mother with her kid. Like, they had a dog from GS4, a South African private security mercenaries company.
But the guys at Standing Rock were dangerous people that were out trying to riot and flip over cars and stuff, right? They were doing terrible, or no? Oh wait, no, they were defending their water supply.
They were literally trying to not have to move because they do not have a water supply if the government keeps poisoning.
So they didn't want their land taken or their water polluted or their children poisoned, is what you're telling me.
Right. So they're already living on Native American reservations, which is classified by the American government legally as a prisoner of war camp. Okay, that's how it's classified.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Right. So these are not the reason that an American militia, because I had contacted militias when this went down. I mean, bro, don't think for a fucking second that I wouldn't have been there with a goddamn fucking, I was freaking out, bro. I was freaking the fuck out. I literally watched a woman get bit, a pregnant woman get bit by a dog by a private mercenary squad from South Africa. I was so upset that a dog was biting a Native American woman. It upset me so much. I reached out and I contacted a militia in North Cali, and I said, why aren't you guys fucking doing anything? I was like, there are American civilians. This is no longer Native Americans. This is all of America right now is behind helping these people. Why aren't you there with your fucking guns? And they said, dude, we tried. If we go there, we get shot. And the reason is it's a prisoner of war camp. If an American civilian has a gun on a prisoner of war camp that's registered as so within the United States government, they are no longer on American grounds, and they are acting as a threat to American sovereignty. It's a horrible situation. There was literally no way out for any of us.
What do you think? When you watch V for Vendetta, I actually watched that with my son the other day and my oldest son. And
you ever see Boondock Saints?
Oh yeah.
Problem solved.
Fair enough. I just, it's and then there's this new show that we just started watching last night called Black Mirror. We just watched Altered Carbon. Of course, if anybody's read, everybody's read 1984, Fahrenheit 451, Animal Farm.
Got it right here, bro. I got a lot of those right here.
It's crazy when you look at. I mean, like V for Vendetta,
terrifying.
Especially. I think in V for Vendetta, when they kicked in the door and they took the news or the talk show host guy away, for speaking out against the government, and then I think of the fact that we've gotten to a point where police can shoot people of any color on the street at will. They can kick in the door of the homes of people of any color, shoot their dog in front of their kids, shoot the dad, and shoot holes in the wall over a quarter ounce of weed.
Bro, I have
that's
so
legal
many
in the next.
dogs, dude.
Yeah.
Anywhere I am, it would take a squadron to kill all the dogs. All the animals would get them first. There's no fucking way you got.
That's always my fear, man. That's always my fear. Is not only that my kids would be here, but it's like I've got a German Shepherd, and we had I told you this. We had the cops and God only knows. I guess I left my door open in my truck or something one night in the back driveway, and the cops rolled up into my driveway, and they're shining a flashlight into my living room. And so imagine at 1:30 or whatever in the morning, I hear my 100-pound German Shepherd, going ape shit, in the middle of my living
Yeah.
room, and I get up and I grab my Desert
Fuck
Eagle,
cops there.
and I don't see cops. All I see is a flashlight coming through my window in my living room.
What do you have? You have a 50 cal Desert Eagle or a 45?
50. And
No way, bro. You got the general gun.
Yeah, I've got the
Badass, bro.
50
Speaking of
Action
Boondock
Express.
Saints.
Yeah, you'll have to look. It's on my. If you look at my personal Instagram, I've got a lot of cool videos of it. You know, my girlfriend's shooting it with me holding onto her hands, and
Oh, sick, dude.
It's like a fucking
It kicks
flamethrower.
like a donkey, bro. I know. I've shot before. It's a crazy fucking gun. I had one in college. It was just. I mean, you don't want to shoot it.
No, you know, it hurts, and it's fucking. It's an expensive hobby, man, because they're $2 a round.
Sure.
You know.
I know, dude.
And you can't find them because Hornady's like the only ammo manufacturer that makes them. But whenever
nobody has.
Whenever Thor and I, my dog and I, when we go hiking up north, it's my bear gun. You know, if
I mean, it'll stop anything. Period. I mean, nothing is walking away from that. Even with armor on, you're not walking away from that.
Yeah,
it'll break all your bones.
Yeah, exactly. Even a fairly large bear, and we have encountered some. Fortunately, none that I've ever had to shoot. But you know, a 50 caliber hollow point, you know.
Stops it.
That stops it. Especially you got 7 rounds of it, but I don't ever want to have to.
No, you don't ever want to shoot a bear. You know, I'll tell you, dude. People think the animals are dangerous. Listen, I have lived in jungles for 4 years now. I'm not really in the jungle now, but I'm close to the jungle, close enough. But like in Costa Rica, right? I mean, there's tons of snakes that can kill you and stuff. There's tons of spiders that can kill you. Tons of bugs. I mean, the ants are extremely painful. I've been covered in bullet ants before and bit. Like, dude, nature doesn't really want to attack you, you know?
Yeah.
Nature really doesn't want to attack you. When I was on heroin, when I was maybe 24, I left Colorado, 22 maybe. I left from Denver to go into the woods of the Rockies for a good month. More, I don't even know. I don't remember the days, but I was camping out there just trying to get off that shit 'cause it's so fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's so bad, dude. That's one thing. Like, I would never do that again. Nothing you can pay me. I don't give a fuck.
Psychedelics help you get rid of that habit, though, huh?
Big time, yeah. And iboga too. Like, iboga's really. If anybody's really struggling, iboga and ayahuasca are two. You know, I don't know if the average drug addict needs medicines that are that strong. I think really they need like a change of environment, a change of diet, and
right.
some love. You know, like some sunlight, a little bit of water, some clean water, and some love. Like, that'll fix anything. But a lot of people don't have access to those things. As crazy as that sounds.
Psychedelics still don't hurt, though.
No, they fix everything. I mean, mushrooms reconnect your neural pathways so that they fire in a path that they never fired before.
You know what I always wondered? Like, what happens when blind people take mushrooms? What do they see?
Oh, wow. Wow, dude, do we know? Can we find a blind person?
I want to know, dude. We took some.
I would love to know.
I was with.
I don't think you can describe it.
How could you describe? So I was. I mean, this is obviously, you know, what you think of when you're in certain mind states. But it's like my girlfriend and my best friend and I were all together, and I took some acid and then some mushrooms and then smoked some DMT and had this really interesting experience. And then out of it, I was like, how would a blind person, like, could you get a blind person to understand what color was if they had this experience? I don't know how you couldn't see color if you took psychedelics like that.
That's weird. I don't know. I'm tripping out trying to think of this.
Dude, no, it makes your brain want to turn inside out. And, you know.
Yeah, it's inside out right now. It's like a sphincter that's like gone too far.
All right, well, then my, that's the last item on my bucket list is turning Third Eye Opener's brain inside out.
That was it, dude. It's like
I have accomplished everything I ever needed to.
What the fuck? It's like a picture in my head of a little midget just dancing around in circus outfit.
I
Like,
want to know so bad. I wonder if we in the future we can get eye transplants for. What the hell are you doing? Are you eating Doritos over there without me?
Nah, bro. I fucking grabbed some granola.
eating Doritos. We could
my
get
third eye opening dinner.
Breakfast of Champions. If we could get a blind person and get them to take some DMT, if you're listening to this, or even a high dose of mushrooms, and then
I'll buy it and mail it.
Yeah, we will pay for it. And I just want to hear about it. And then, you know, maybe one day you can get eye implants, and then you can draw a picture.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Technology that you can hook up to somebody's brain, and it will actually show you on a screen what they're thinking. It's cool, right?
I saw a thing about that. I wondered if it was bullshit. I don't know if I believe it.
No, I mean, it's okay. So it's real, but this is very bad. This is something we don't talk about enough. But okay, has it occurred to anybody that maybe chemtrails are not being sprayed by humans?
No, because I see planes doing it.
Doesn't every single human have to breathe the same fucking air?
Yeah, but here's my thing with the chemtrails. I don't think that they're necessarily being sprayed for the reason, like everybody says that they're making them sick and it's the aluminum and barium that are doing this and that, and I don't believe that. I don't think it's a side effect. I don't think that it's actually they're here polluting the air. I think those things are doing something different. I got some pretty crazy speculation on that. That's not.
Bro, they're fucking terraforming, bro.
So
they're terraforming. They're turning this planet into something else.
Okay. And that's kind of what I think is like that. I think that they're it has something to do with the density of our atmosphere. They want to keep the density higher. And I've got some far out speculations about that are probably not worth getting into. But you know what? Fuck it. We're here. Why not? Listen. So have you seen those pictures of like on the bottom of the ocean? There's like a river on the bottom of the ocean.
No.
So there's
going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's these. So Google. River on the bottom of the ocean. Let me try that.
Okay, by the way, fuck Google, guys. Don't use Google.
I'm using
Google. I'm using Google right now.
Yeah. Underwater river. That's what you want to Google. You'll see it. Underwater river. Go look it up. And
cool.
So this kind of got me thinking, and you know, everybody knows I'm not scared to speculate with some really far out shit. But I did some research into this, and apparently these river systems do exist on the bottom of the ocean. And we don't know what's in them because we can't get into them, and we can't get ROVs or remote operated vehicles in there because the water's too saline and too dense. So God only knows what kinds of organisms and fish and creatures are in there. So just, quick, crazy little thought experiment. Just imagine that you were a fish living in that river, right? You're some kind of a subterranean tuna or a salmon or whatever you are. You may never in your whole life see a shark. You know what I mean? Because a shark can't get into that water.
Right.
You may never see a shark. You may not ever. You may hear from your other buddies, the other subterranean salmon, that sharks exist. That there's these beings that fly around up above you. But you don't ever see them, but about 1% of the time, you or one of your buddies goes up to the top of your water, you get nabbed by a shark. So then, in their world, a dolphin or a shark might be like a bird to them, or something like that. That's living in a whole different dimension. They can move in different ways. They live in a whole different universe. And then to a dolphin or a shark or whatever, maybe 1% of the fish in the ocean will ever see a human being. And then maybe the ones that make it back, they think, well, there's these guys, these higher beings in this realm above us that sometimes come down and can see us and they can take us away. And then everybody thinks they're fucking crazy. And then, we have the birds above us that are flying in this less dense, we call it a fluid, because that's the only difference between a fluid and a gas is the vibrational state, the density of the atoms. And if you believe, as I do, what Walter Russell said is that, there's only energy in different states of motion and vibration, then it kind of goes back to the as above, so below thing. So I personally have this weird, crazy, far out speculative theory that we are just we're basically little starfish or sea creatures walking around on the bottom of a bigger ocean. The birds are the fish flying around. I think there's beings above this in a less dense, higher plane. And that this terraforming and stuff, this density thing may be an effort to keep those higher level beings from being able to come down and interact or interfere with the plans that are going on. I think we might have some people up above that are looking out for us.
And
that's my speculation, and I understand it's completely batshit crazy. I just had to throw it out there.
I mean, my only thing with it is that if you look at what this shit they're spraying on us is causing, like if you really go in depth with this, it's deep, bro. I mean, have you researched Morgellons at all?
Yeah, I've known about it for a long time. But I mean, like, dude, who gives a fuck? Like, how many people have Morgellons? It's like 25 people.
No, every single person on Earth.
Oh,
Every
really?
single person. Yeah, every
I thought it
single
was
one.
like when I look it up, I can't find any cases of it. I don't have it.
Yeah, you do. You go take a glass of red wine, put it in your mouth, swivel it around 15 minutes, and spit out into a cup. You have it. Trust me.
What do I do with it? I'm gonna do this because I drink red wine. What do I do with it?
Uh,
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Don't tell me.
I'm not even going to tell you how to do it. I don't even want you to believe it. Don't believe it, please.
Yeah, I refuse. I can't do it because I've got to think about parasites. I can't fucking live with the idea of parasites. Parasites don't work for me.
Bro, it's a crazy thing, bro. And
That's why I don't like politicians.
Yeah, me neither, bro. Fuck them.
So the
I was
chemtrails.
wondering
So
later.
what do they do? So what do you? Is it Morgellons disease that they're trying to do? What
No,
blows?
dude, that's a byproduct.
No, well, what blows me away, man, is like I've got videos I've taken. It's not even worth getting, and I don't even want to get off on the chemtrail thing so much because it's so obviously it's another one of those things that's like I was walking around with some guys the other day and I pointed up at the sky and I'm like, look, man, this fucking chemtrail or this trail, let's just call it a trail, goes from one horizon to the other, and then there's another one that goes from one horizon to the other, and there's another one that goes several miles.
But they don't even get it. Some of them don't get it.
And I'm like, have you ever gone for a walk on a cold day and you breathe and you can see your breath for a minute? Imagine walking 5 miles on that cold day and you turn around and look behind you and there's a 5-mile condensation trail of your breath.
Bro, I say the exact same thing, word for word.
Yeah, they don't get it.
I'm like, are you people fucking retarded?
I just quit.
They're spraying you with poison.
I just quit. I don't even give a shit. We freaked out one time, man. We had taken a little bit of mushrooms and we were out on the back porch looking up at the stars and looking up at Orion, and we like to look at the stars all the time. We're big into that. So, and we just saw this line that just rippled across the middle of the sky, almost out of nowhere. And I was tripping. I was like, man, I think it's like a portal opening up or something. Anyway, and we watched this line split the middle of the sky, and then it just started to drip down. Like imagine there was like a glass dome, and you just put like food coloring in a line across the top of it and just let it drip down. So anyway, I immediately call one of my buddies. I'm like, listen, man, I took a very small amount of mushrooms and we're seeing some weird shit in the sky, but I want you to have a look and tell me if this is for real. So anyway, we ended up, having him confirm it for us, but we videotaped it with our phones, and he was tripping out going, oh my God, I've never seen this before. But they were spraying at night, which here in Dallas has become absolutely out of control how much they spray. Dude. But we watched the stars, bro. We watched this happen. And my buddy, completely sober, by the way, saw the same thing, a couple neighborhoods over. But we watched the chemicals drip down, and they did drip. It was like watching, like I say, like a fluid dripping over a dome. And it just dripped and dripped and dripped, and it blocked out all the stars that we were looking at. We watched it block them out.
Wow.
And then it literally settled over our neighborhood and got so thick we got scared and ran inside. And my buddy was like, "Holy shit, we're going inside. We're shutting our windows because it's a fog." We watched it come in, and then 10 minutes later, I walked back outside. The fog was gone. The stars were back out. I mean, I couldn't see Orion. Orion went from being crystal clear to being totally blocked out. The fog came in.
Yeah, I know, dude.
It's insane, dude. I don't know what they're doing, but for anyone to deny that it is happening, is
they're fucking
mind-blowing.
retarded. Yeah, it's mind-blowing. I mean, the fluoride's working. You think that this is not happening?
Oh, listen, dude. Hey, the fluoride is doing its thing. In the North Texas Municipal Water District right now, Aaron Brockovich is here.
Who the fuck is that?
Aaron Brockovich was the Julia Roberts in the movie. Aaron Brockovich. The movie was about bad water in this place. True story. She was an attorney, and she went. All these kids were getting cancer and stuff from the water, and they were all poor, and they didn't have any way to take on the water people. But the whole movie, like I said, is Julia Roberts, and she goes out there and wins this massive suit. Proves that the water was causing cancer and all that shit. Well, she's here in our water district, the place where we get our water from. She is here this week, and she's doing her thing because of the shit that they're putting in the water. And there's about to be a major blow up about it. Of all the places in the country, they've found some shit in the water out here at the North Texas Municipal Water District that is really, really bad.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy what they're putting in the water. I mean, like, when we talk about When we talk about Rome falling, how did Rome fall?
Do you want historical or otherwise bad leadership?
No, like somebody poisoned them with metals, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just
the
thought it
water
was.
supply.
I thought it was fucking. What it was? What's his name? It was Joaquin Phoenix. I thought it was Joaquin Phoenix's fault.
I actually liked him. I really liked Gladiator.
Yeah, you're gonna blame the water. I'm gonna blame Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, I will say that it was because there was lead in the water, and somebody was putting the lead in the water. It was not an accident.
No idea.
So, just to give you an example, we say all roads lead to Rome, yeah?
Yep.
When I've investigated things independently, every single road of money has led me from the streets of wherever I am with whatever problem I'm researching into the Jesuit order. Who was in charge of Rome?
Constantine.
It was the Jesuits. The fucking Jesuits, bro. The same people who killed Jesus. It's always the Jesuits. Every fucking time. Byzantine, Constantine, it's all Jesuits.
Really? The Jesuits?
All of them. Mm-hmm.
I thought they didn't come around until like 1100. You had them like you had that Francisco Loyola or Francisco Ignatius Loyola or whatever. He was. I thought he was
different names for the same bullshit.
Right. No,
just like right now, like Nazis and Israel, Nazis and Zionism. Nazism and Zionism are the exact same thing. Exact same. They are fundamentally, philosophically, exactly the same.
Really?
We are the master race. These people are our servants. Like, it's just insane.
I see what you mean.
It's the exact same fundamental teachings, 100%. It's not even. It doesn't miss a beat, bro. It's the exact same thing.
That's interesting.
Just
I didn't know that.
And America is basically just Israel's bitch. I mean,
well, I know that much. I know that much for sure. And one of the things you say that I think is interesting for people to look into is the reality that the banking families, the Rothschilds, and all these guys that are in control are really pretty easily traced back to the Knights Templar. There's no question about that.
Yep.
Like there's just not
100%.
really. It's just super.
And the Freemasons.
Well, yeah, exactly.
All of that. Order of the Eastern Star.
And that's really easy to trace, by the way. Like you don't really even have to make any. You can do some pretty shallow research and get there pretty easily.
They would probably openly tell you. They would.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. It's that easy. It's like basic History Channel shit. But if you go a little bit deeper, like to recommend like Jordan Maxwell or Michael Tessarian or Ralph Ellis. What you find crazy enough is like you can really trace these ruling bloodlines back to ancient Egypt, and I'm going to do a podcast with Billy Carson of Forbidden Knowledge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
that's cool.
And we're going to talk about Billy. One of the things that I love about his work is he traces these things as do a lot of other researchers back to ancient Sumer and hundreds of thousands of years back, and of course they have some very. I mean, you know me, man. I love that line from whoever it was, Plato or Aristotle, that says the sign of an educated mind is to be able to entertain an idea without accepting it. And I'm always about entertaining ideas, and I don't know what's what, but I love discussing ideas. And if you can't discuss ideas, no matter how far out they are, then you can't make progress. So I don't know. I don't know everything, and I don't know if alien bloodlines still exist that are controlling the world or whatever. But I think it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting concept. And I think all the stuff you're talking about, like I say, it's easy to trace these bloodlines at least back to the Knights Templar, just using very simple historical tools we have. And from what I've found, being such sort of a nut research fanatic of ancient mythologies of like the last 6,000-7,000 years, as far back as our mythologies go all over the world, is it's actually pretty easy to trace them to Egypt too. You look at their characteristics and their the banking operations, their sort of MO with the banking and all that.
It's the same bullshit, bro. It's the same debt-based fucking slavery. It's just one culture.
Well,
has been doing it.
Even the symbolism of the eagle and the serpent.
Everything. It's all this one fucking family, bro. It's all the Rothschilds.
Yeah.
And just they are the head of it, and then it's these other little cartel pussies that branch out from underneath them.
What I think is what was interesting for me was once I realized, like, at the very top, like, I used to think, well, it's all about money. It's all about money. I think a lot of people think that way. Like, and I get it. It's all about money and greed because that's as far as the average mind can conceive. But when you really sit in quiet and you just contemplate and think and think and think, and once you get to the top of the pyramid, you realize these guys have hundreds of trillions of dollars at their disposal. They own every country. They own every bank. They own every army.
Everything.
It's not about the money for them, right?
Do you want to know something really interesting? Do you know who owns the borders of South America and Central America?
What do you mean the borders?
Literally, somebody owns the frontier land between each country for a 500-meter.
I didn't know that.
Insane, dude. Yeah, Israel.
No shit.
Yes, shit.
Well,
you ever wonder why? I mean, it doesn't surprise anybody, but anybody who knows, and anybody who doesn't, open your fucking third eye. The way that it's crazy. You know how Jews are always referred to as like these worldly travelers? Like, oh, what are you? Oh, I'm a merchant, textile merchant, or something like that. Or a banking individual, or they're always these global travelers. Well, why is that? Like, what do they really? They can just go through borders. I don't think that they have any type of. I don't understand how they literally own the space between each country.
Yeah, I don't know, but they definitely own the banks and people. I think that there are sort of levels of awareness of how things work, and like your average person that wants to argue about left or right, which politician's better. Like those are like your zombie sheep.
Those are your bootlickers.
Yeah, you're not going to get. It's hard to break those people out of where they're at. But then you have people like I would say, like my dad and a lot of people that they don't even. A lot of them don't even. I don't know if my dad votes or not, but a lot of people of his level don't because they know that the corporations are pulling the strings and the special interest groups, and you hear people of that level of awareness talking about the special interest groups, But
how do you think Donald Trump got elected?
Yeah.
Speaking of actual things, like I was convinced that Hillary was getting elected. My third eye was tingling on that one. How the fuck did it turn into Trump?
I still don't know.
Was that a mistake?
I think it might have been.
God intervened.
He and Putin are buddies, man. I like Putin. I'm a Putin fan.
Be careful.
Yeah. I don't like him other than the fact that I love that he.
He's another Zionist.
What I'm saying, I don't like any of them. What I'm saying is,
me neither.
I like watching him make our political system look stupid using base logic and truth. And
well, remember, this is exactly how. Okay, Russia will be to America what America was to Nazi Germany during America's descent. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, my brain hurt on that.
Okay. Russia is going to be, how America invaded Germany?
Yep.
For the bankers?
Yep.
Okay, in exchange for, I think, Palestine, which was in the 1917 Balfour Declaration, in exchange for involvement of American troops in World War II, or something like that. There's some connection between the two. I can't remember. But anyway, America involved itself in World War II, which had nothing to do with it. It went after Germany. Russia is going to do that to America. We are being buttered up to be taken over by Russia and China. That is what they're doing right now.
Russia's going to invade Texas?
Yes, Russia and China.
Damn.
But we're not talking about like an invasion. Most people think like you. They're like, oh, yay, Russia. This guy knows that America's fucking stupid. Well, yeah, but he knows that America's stupid, and he knows that the fucking Americans are going to believe that he's stupid too. But he knows.
I don't know, man. I hear you, but like there's a lot of work to be done before America's in a position to get effectively invaded by anybody. I listen.
No, there's not. The Gwen Towers will do all of that in a year.
The what?
The 5G network.
Oh yeah, 5G. I don't even want to get into it because that's such a big topic to cover, and I just don't even. We don't even need to open that can of worms. We'll have to do that on the next one. But
anybody listening, start marking down the location on a topographical paper map of every tower that you encounter, whether it's in a tree, a cactus, on top of a building, a Wi-Fi router, anything. Locate them all and put them onto a topographical map.
Give everybody a quick, let's say 30-second overview of 5G. What's coming with that?
Yo, there will be a day where these towers turn on and your mind is controlled. Before that day comes, or if it starts happening in one region of the country prior to another, you have to dismantle the towers. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know the solution, bro. I mean, I have like
Caves.
everywhere
Fucking cave systems, bro.
you can also line rooms with like tinfoil. I mean, you literally could protect yourself.
Well, lead paint works. It just does.
Does it?
Lead paint totally works. It absolutely works. Yeah, there's countless tests on it. My buddy is he's a brilliant. He's my former business partner actually, and been friends for a long time. And he is a brilliant guy who works with. He works in information security. He's a nationally renowned information security resource. Works with a team of guys. I won't say who and what company, but he's one of the ground floor. Not one of the founders or owners, but the ground floor team members of about a dozen guys that he didn't work for the NSA, but every other guy in this company that they started, this information security company, came from the NSA. They were all on the Snowden train, and they all left because of what was going on, and they created an email encryption company based on the parameters that the NSA used. Knowing what the NSA,
wow, no way.
Yeah, they knew what decryption methods and stuff the NSA was capable of, so they made an encryption software that the NSA can't crack.
How cool!
And so this dude is just super dialed in. He's also a trained sniper. He trains with a bunch of SEALs and stuff, and they go out on the weekends to these mock-up, little towns they've built out in places I won't say. They do tactical training and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he's one of the realest dudes I know, and he's brilliant. But anyway, he built his house out in the country, and he used lead paint on certainly particular rooms of his house. I don't know if it was every room, but like their bedrooms and other places. And he was showing me the tests and stuff, the spectrometer tests and the heat mapping and all that. He's like, yeah, you can't get shit through here. It's like wearing a tinfoil hat for your whole room. Yeah, it's certain kinds of lead paint that they used. It's no bullshit. It does work. So that's the thing that people need to know. I think is that this 5G thing is bringing a whole different level of wireless blanketing to the cosmic soup that we're swimming around in every day. It's bad shit.
Yeah, it's bad. It's certainly not good. I personally keep all of my electronic devices stored in a Faraday cage when I'm using them. Like my laptop and everything at night when I sleep goes in the microwave, which I don't use for any other reason but to store the laptop. It's specifically bought for that purpose. I have a Faraday cage that I made myself out of tinfoil and tape, aluminum foil tape. And it's the inside of a box that I lined with this, and the lips connect so that it literally has a sheet of tinfoil that is completely connected. There is no penetrating ability of any rays. And you can test this when it's completely sealed. That you can put a cell phone inside of it and call it, and it's not going to ring. I mean, it's impossible. It's just not. So I keep all of my cards in there too.
That's bananas. It's crazy because there's obviously a huge amount of the population that would hear this and just be like, you guys are fucking bananas. But here's what I have to say to that. It's like I've owned and operated an information security company for over a decade. We've been in business since 2005. And I know how this shit works, and I've watched the conversations that happen. Like, I don't know if you remember when the Google Maps vans were driving around and they were caught stealing people's Wi-Fi info, and they were like, oh, my bad, somehow the cameras were configured wrong, and they just picked up people's shit. Like,
no way.
That's literally what happened. Like, they got caught doing it.
That is so fucked up.
And it was on the news, and they were swiping people's information off their hard drives over their Wi-Fi system. And I watched.
What?
Brother, I watched.
No way.
Dude,
Google did this?
Google did it. It's been several years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago, and I watched. Being an IT guy, being in that industry, in the information security consulting industry, I watched people just soak it up and go, oh, that makes perfect sense. That a camera on top of a van taking pictures would accidentally hack all of the Wi-Fi networks in a given neighborhood and take information off their hard drives. This makes perfect sense because I don't know dick about technology, and therefore it makes sense. And so...
dumb, dude.
It's this level of ignorance, and I'm not even dissing people for being ignorant because we can't all know everything, right? I mean,
dude, I'm stupid sometimes.
I'm ignorant as fuck on a lot of levels, but like,
Like tech is my thing. I can't do that at all. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I get it from a high level, but I can't work on it as much, but I get it from a high level. But anyway, it's like accidentally deleting 33,000 emails and running a private email server, and like people, it's really easy to just brush this under the carpet and just excuse it away if you know fuck all about technology. But anytime you hear someone talk about technology and there's a controversy around it, give me a shout, and I'll tell you just how much bullshit it is, because it would blow your mind. And this,
I'm sure.
And this 5G thing is one of these things that people are real quick to say, like, "Hey, we're crazy for talking about lead paint on your walls."
These people have no idea what's coming to their doorstep.
And it's like, guys, I'm telling you that Google was on the news, on every news network, stealing your shit, and you believed that it was an accident, and I can't help that. And I can't help you there.
I'm telling you right now that they're trying to fucking fry your brain with this shit, and you're not going to listen. But I have to tell you, I have a moral obligation to the creator to tell you that your life is in danger right now.
Yep. But on a brighter note, and I'm gonna spend about 5 more minutes, and I want to roll this out on a positive note, because I think that you and I are capable of doing that too. Now that we've brought down hellfire, brimstone, doom, gloom, and everything in between, there's an awakening going on, huh?
Yeah, we got this.
We got this shit.
Got this, dude.
We got this. There's a lot of bad shit going on.
Going crazy.
A lot of great shit going on. People are not eating animals as much, and that's a good thing on a lot of levels. It makes your brain work better. We're not killing other sentient beings. We're starting to appreciate and enjoy nature more. Cannabis is becoming
That's good.
legal.
Veganism really took hold, huh?
Veganism is really happening, man. There's some big ass like vegan pages on Instagram, a couple 100,000 followers. Joe Rogan, I think, is going vegan. Sam Harris, that guy, the philosopher I was talking about earlier, who I love.
Is Joe Rogan going vegan?
I think his deal, and I've considered doing this. I know that he and Sam Harris were talking about going vegan whenever they did a podcast on Rogan's podcast together. They were both going vegan, or at least trying it out. And I think Rogan is vegan, and I think his deal is he goes bow hunting and he kills an elk, and he'll eat that elk, and that's the only meat he'll eat.
Yeah, I don't understand why we're not doing that in the first place.
Well, I got my kids bows and arrows. I grew up bow hunting and bow fishing, and like I'm all about it. Like, hate on me all you want. I try to eat as vegetarian as I can. But if I'm going to go hunt a fucking elk with a bow and arrow and eat that meat over the course of the year, and you have a problem with that, man, I don't know what to tell you. That's not a bad way to live.
Not at all, dude. And honestly, that's not bad for the elk. It had a free life. It literally lived in the wild. It was respected. It died quick. Like, I don't know. There's a way to do things, and there's a way to not do things.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want in this life. If you have to hurt something in order to survive, I understand.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think intention and respect is a thing too. And I know that it's a lot of really hardcore people that may not make sense, but like, I mean, the way the natives viewed it was, they had these prayer ceremonies before they went on the hunt, and they prayed to the spirits of the animals, and they
to show themselves.
Like, present yourself to me, and I'll honor you, and this and that, and they did, and there was honor and respect in it. But it goes back to that oneness with nature that we've lost. That's my big thing. Is like we've lost our connection with nature and with spirit, and that's also with the the divine feminine as well. And you see a lot more of that going on now. A lot more art going on, a lot more nature stuff happening, and that all this shit's all connected. You know what I mean? Your weird ass brain works like mine. It's all connected. Your connection to nature, spirit, animals, plants, the plant teachers all coming in.
Yeah, bro. That whole entire like kingdom and sub kingdoms, they will do my bidding.
Yeah.
One day you'll see. I'll have toucans like bringing me kombucha and shit. I promise you. Like.
This
is real.
Awesome.
Like, nature's you, bro. That's you. This is all you.
Yeah.
And everybody listening, it's all you. Like, God wants you to survive. That's why the natives would pray to the animals. The animals would just come up to them. I mean, they could kill them peacefully. Like, it's totally different than what we're doing now. We're enslaving entire species.
Well, that's it. And it's changing. I can't believe how quickly it's changing. The last couple of years, I've really been paying attention, and the amount of people, I mean, you look at like even an Instagram account like mine, it posting a bunch of woo-woo shit about loving your neighbor, getting back in nature, learning about ancient mysteries. I mean, I got 20,000 followers in the last 4 months, and
yeah, I just saw that, bro. You actually, I mean, you really blew the fuck up fast, huh?
Well, yeah, but it's just because people are waking up, you know, and I try to keep my vibes high, but still keep, you know, but speak truth and live in truth. And I think once I realized that that's all I had to do, I didn't need to. Well, I've got a big ass dog barking in the background over here. That must mean
that might be our cue.
Yeah, that must mean that either the police are here or my girlfriend's home.
Well, fuck the police. If they're there, shoot them, please. Like, no, honestly, what the fuck are you doing in my house, bro? Like, should not even be a thing. Somebody comes in your house, kill them. What are we doing?
I know that's
what the Constitution was written for.
Yeah.
Like, I love police. Like, please, by all means, if a cop is on the street and needs help him. Like, if he's thirsty, give him water. If he comes in your house, that's a real fucking problem. That is tyranny.
Well, you know,
we have to start really reevaluating the way we're looking at this because that is why the Constitution.
Someone kicks in your door at 3 a.m. and they have a flashlight in their hand and it's pitch black.
You have the right to shoot them.
Are you gonna wait for them to handcuff you and show you a badge?
Bro, they're going to get hit with the booby traps in the fucking driveway first. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Then they're going to get hit with the booby traps in the doorway. Then they're going to get hit with the booby traps when they open the door. I mean, it's one after another after another. Because that's my home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like what police are doing in America. That really terrifies me. And the fact that people think that it's acceptable is so concerning to somebody like me. Because that's your freedom of your home.
Well, it's more awakening. It's more awakening because I think that shit's coming to light a lot more. There's
that's a fact, bro.
More momentum around that too, and I think that those guys are going to get locked up. Listen, it has been fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, bro, it's been fuck, huh?
Yes. Okay, so the next time we get on here, I want to get into a whole bunch of other shit. I want to talk about life in the jungle. I want to talk about your journey of awakening and all the blessings that you've been able to experience, and some of the advice you have for everybody on all this stuff. Because what's important
we'll
is to
have another one soon, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to, because you got to understand what we got into today was so awesome because you talk about all the crazy shit in the world, and this is kind of like opening the can of worms.
It's a mess, dude. People don't even like hearing about this because it's so upsetting, you know?
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of positive information that we can use to cap this off. But man, we just don't have time today. Doesn't mean we can't do it later. And we will. I promise you, because you and I have too much fun, and your whack-ass brain works a lot like my whack-ass brain. So it works out.
I'm good with this.
Any final words for the listeners other than they're all fucking awesome?
All right, yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I appreciate your time. You guys can find me on 3rd-EyeOpener on Instagram. That's my main account. And then I have backup accounts on Facebook, YouTube. My website is www.3rdeyeopener.com. You can check that out.
The book.
We have a book. I have a book. Yeah, I wrote a book, Third Eye Opened. There's a fuckload of stuff on the website. I have
Go to the website.
Yeah, check it out. Like, Hidden Knowledge is 2,500 books that you can download completely free. I don't want anything from you. I want you to have the information to help wake me up.
Hey, I do want to point something out. I want to dive in because on your website you have something super badass. Is that Hidden Knowledge thing? You've got an actual big file repository with a shitload of information on there.
Yeah, dude, like 25,000 downloads.
Yeah, that blew me away. Like that's when I knew you were the real deal. Like when I looked at that, because people are always asking, like, "Hey, where can I go for information? You know, what's my path to enlightenment supposed to look like?" And when I found that on your page, I was like, you know, he's not just a guy with something to say. Like, this is a guy who knows.
No, he's got a plan.
He's got a plan.
He's got a plan. He's doing something. He doesn't even know what he's doing, but he's doing it.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, man. Well, thank you again so much. Thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure that you come see us on shamanicphilosophy.com. Website wokeshop.com coming this summer. Probably going to be working with my man 3rd-EyeOpener on that one too. Check out the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. We got a lot more of these badass interviews coming up soon. And then of course on Instagram at shamanic.philosophy, where we kind of run our operations out of at this point. And we all just have a lot of fun. A lot more crazy shit coming your way. Thank you guys so much. Send you off with the blessing and just say, may the light be upon you, may peace be within you, and may you be a sun on the paths of all men. God bless you guys. Have an awesome week. Later.
Can we rise above the hate, or will we all just sit and wait till the war raging outside reaches our home? Can we find our way again, or are Can we